mean, there's so many ways to learn how to make music now, right? You got Icon, you have YouTube, right? And is that like for your journey in particular? How did you do it? I mean, did you? Because one thing I noticed when I was like, all right, I'm gonna start making music, and I started just messing around. But then I also realized, like, wow, this is a lot more complex and challenging than I thought. And I mean, you really are an audio engineer, right? So how did you just say, like, how did you get through that? I mean, were you just like, nope, I'm just gonna keep cranking, and then you found videos on YouTube, or because now to hear what you're putting out now, it's like, damn, dude, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, in regards to how it started, I was on it was as simple as I could to get it. It was a piece of junk HP laptop, like with some FL Studio on it. So probably can get up to about 12 tracks max, 12 channels on that thing. But it was a drive for it. So from there into where I got now, from learning, it was more just like either hanging out with my peers, watching a lot of YouTube videos. I actually have a full list of links that I still will go back to this day just to watch. But YouTube is incredible. Like the digital age that we live in right now, there's so much opportunity to do what you want, especially during this time in quarantine. It's terrible, but a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to learn to play the guitar, if you wanted to learn to be a producer, a graphic designer, any of the above, whatever, if you want to take on just a different avenue, then now would be the time to start and to put a little bit of time in, because there's just so much education out there. You can just type in anything like music production masterclass. I guarantee you'll find an hour video on YouTube right now, like almost certain. So it's more just watching and learning. And the beauty in these videos is that if you forget, you can always go back.
Yeah.
It's just keep watching those and practice as the video's going on. It's kind of like a college course. If you ever had online classes, anybody's ever had online classes, it's like that. You're taking notes almost, but you're just kind of painting on your canvas while you're listening to this guy talk to you. So
yeah, you're being a student of the game, which is
that's it.
Yeah, like everyone's just trying to, even the headline artists, the headline DJs are still honing in on their craft. So I think like that's something that always stays within. How about this? Talk about like, so your upbringing, you were playing a lot of events, DJing a lot, and then one day you were like, you know what, I'm gonna step away from the DJing to focus on music production. Is that how it worked? Because a lot of people think like, all right, like I'm ready to just get up there on the big stage. Yeah. And you've gone through that experience. You've opened for, who have you opened for? I mean, you used to invite me to like events, and then those guys are like all headliners now. You're like Troy Boys tonight. You're like, I think Ghastly's tonight, and then you were opening for them. So just kind of talk about the DJing process. What led you to say, I'm going to take a step back and then get more into the production side of things? And then the advice you have for someone that just wants to get out there and already start DJing.
So in regards to the DJing side, right? Now look, if you're like thinking DJing, if you want to start off as a DJ, think small promoters. I'm not talking your big corporate giants like Insomniac or Golden Voice, anything like that. Unless you find your way in, then by all means, like have fun, like do that. But how I started, anyways, from my perspective, was this company out in Santa Ana that went by White Rabbit Group. Sorry,
White Rabbit Group, Yoast Theater. Those were the days.
Havoc Thursdays, man. Yep, they were crazy times, man. That tiny little club, little sweatbox, man. Good time, dude. A lot of good energy in that crowd, though, man. It was like a festival crowd when you played. But yeah, I mean, it was a small time gig, man. My first ever gig was Tropiquilla's up top in that little skybox that room maybe held at max 150, and there's two people dancing. Like, I've seen empty dance floors before, and you will see that, and you just can't get undetermined, by seeing that, because you will have bad nights that are really slow. I remember playing at the Fox Theater, at the main stage of the Fox Theater in Pomona, and there was literally only two of my best friends still to this day that were on the floor watching me. But these were small time promoters that were throwing these events. And it's not necessarily about the people that are there, it's about the experience you get. If you're on a stage, be grateful. Play, you're gonna have friends that are gonna be there. So in regards to the DJing, you'll get a lot of promoters that'll tell you, oh, you need to sell tickets. Well, look, I understand the backlash on selling tickets, but if you're a fresh starting DJ and you're trying to make your name in it and you can't put in the extra bit of time to go reach out to your friends or people to, hey, come see me play, then why are you trying to, what makes you think you're going to put extra time into producing? Because that gets way more tedious than just asking people to buy tickets from you. That's my little perception on that. If you can't put in the extra little bit of hours instead of just because you're making an hour DJ set, and let me tell you, for me, that does not take that long as finishing a track. So if you can't put in extra time after you create your set for that show, and you can't go reach out to people to, hey, come see me play, come see what I have, then man, you're just lacking drive at that point. Like, I can see the cons on both sides of that, but that's from my standpoint as starting out. So I went from starting tickets, then I went to getting paid, but that was all based off of experience. Once you start getting more experience, you open up for, bigger headliners and you have your little press kit and all that other stuff. Then, if as a local DJ anyways, then you can start moving up, But for me, like you said, I stepped away from shows. I got some advice from a friend, who was on a festival circuit for a good period of time. And he told me, he's like, if you're just DJing, he's like, you should sit down from shows and just focus solely on production and then come back. And that's what I've been doing.
What do you do? What do you think's the pro to that? Do you think that if you're an artist who, I mean, it's great that you got the experience. So like, I feel like that in its own is pretty awesome, pretty epic, and a blessing because you've been in front of a big crowd, you've been in front of a stage, then the flip side, you've been there when it's not a big crowd, and you've had to deal with those questions. Well, how does that make me feel? Well, I'm still playing music, but then you made a firm decision to say, you know what? I'm going to make my own stuff. Do you think that only strengthens the case? I'm pretty sure that's probably what you're thinking. It's a power play. Like, I'm going to dive deeper into myself, come back out of it, implement that to what I've learned, and then ultimately now have more opportunities. Do you think art, like, you have to have your own tracks really to get to a certain level?
Yes, straight up. You're not going to play a big festival unless you're writing your own music. It's as simple as that. Flume would not be where he is today if he was just a performing artist doing cover tracks for everybody. Your idols would not be where they are today performing these crazy shows unless they had written their own music. It's simple as that gets. There are big, like, there's DJs out there who just mix, but they are if you're talking about festival circuits and you want to have those big shows, you want to sell out arenas or whatever your dreams may be, you do need to write your own music. It's as simple as that gets. A good music is what's going to get you up there, because I've seen guys who have amazing tracks but who are not that good live, but they're on a huge stage still. It's not the other way around where guys are really good DJs, and they don't have, good tracks behind their name. I think the production is by far the most important. Like, it doesn't get more important than that.
Wow. And do you think that, like, since you've done that, you took the time to jump into production, obviously you're not DJing shows, but do you think that when you do get back to that, which is going to be very soon, and you've already dropped one mix, you're able to just bring in so many more elements and you feel like the quality of your set just improves?
Yeah, I think in regards to the production aspect, by learning so much in production, I feel like it's allowed me to kind of like see DJing differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can break rules now, you know what I mean? You can switch, like for me, like when I was DJing, I was very almost like BPM oriented in a way, right? To where it was almost like everything has to be correct, and like in some certain way, my exact that. I used to still experiment as a DJ, don't get me wrong, but In regards
Sorry,
to
you cut
learning
out.
what I've learned in production,
You said you
I
were
feel
like more
like
technical.
drawing, taking that. I feel like yeah, I was way more technical. Now it's like, now I can honestly, it's a little bit more creative freedom. Let me put it that way. In regards to sets that, like, at least how I'm thinking I want to curate them right now, other than some that I have curated for myself, I think that there's going to be a lot more to offer. This is not going to be that typical trap show or whatever I used to play. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be a little bit more depth to it, a little more emotion. So in regards to that, yeah, I mean, I think skills I've learned as a producer are definitely going to help me leaning forward towards especially like live sets and just any live performance in general.